The early 20th century was a time of great change and progress. Many countries were growing more powerful and advancing in technology. However, beneath this optimism, there were tensions between countries. In Europe, empires were competing for power and influence. New inventions like the telephone and airplane were changing everyday life, but political and social problems were also growing. Countries were forming alliances and building up their armies. The world was becoming a more dangerous place. The stage was set for a major conflict. World War I, also known as the Great War, would change everything. During this time, several factors contributed to the rising tensions. Nations were expanding their territories and influence, known as imperialism. Countries like Britain, France, and Germany were competing for colonies in Africa and Asia. This competition created jealousy and mistrust among them. Militarism, the belief in maintaining a strong military, was also on the rise. Many European nations were building up their armies and navies. Nationalism, a strong feeling of pride in one's country, was also growing. People believed their nation was superior to others. This made them more willing to go to war to defend their country's honor. Alliances between countries further complicated things. These alliances were meant to provide security, but also meant that a conflict between two countries could quickly involve others. This network of alliances would play a crucial role in the outbreak of World War I. The spark that ignited World War I was the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary. On June 28, 1914, Franz Ferdinand and his wife Sophie visited the city of Sarajevo. While they were traveling in an open car, a 19-year-old Serbian nationalist named Gavrilo Princip shot and killed them. Princip was a member of a group called the Black Hand, which wanted to free Bosnia from Austrian rule. The assassination shocked the world and set off a chain of events that led to war. Austria-Hungary blamed Serbia for the assassination. They issued an ultimatum to Serbia with several demands. Serbia agreed to most of the demands, but not all. Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia on July 28, 1914. Militarism played a significant role in causing World War I. Many countries believed that having a strong military was essential for their security and power. They spent large amounts of money on building up their armies and navies. This arms race created a sense of fear and suspicion among nations. Germany and Britain were particularly competitive. Germany wanted to challenge Britain's naval dominance. They built a fleet of powerful battleships called dreadnoughts. Britain responded by building more of their own. This naval race increased tensions between the two countries. On land, countries like Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Russia expanded their armies. They developed new weapons and military strategies. This build-up made war more likely because countries felt they could win a quick and decisive victory. Military leaders often pushed for aggressive policies, believing war was inevitable and desirable. Section 5. The Web of Alliances. Alliances between countries were another major cause of World War I. European nations formed two main alliance blocs. One was the Triple Alliance, which included Germany, Austria, Hungary, and Italy. The other was the Triple Entente, made up of Britain, France, and Russia. These alliances were meant to provide security. The idea was that if one country was attacked, its allies would come to its defense. However, this also meant that a conflict between two countries could quickly spread to involve others. When Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia, Russia came to Serbia's aid. Germany, allied with Austria-Hungary, declared war on Russia. France, allied with Russia, then found itself at war with Germany. Britain entered the war to support its allies and to defend Belgium, which Germany had invaded. Section 6. The impact of imperialism. Imperialism was another key factor that led to World War I. European powers were competing for colonies around the world, especially in Africa and Asia. This competition for colonies created rivalries and conflicts between the major powers. Countries wanted to expand their empires to gain access to resources and markets. Germany, for example, wanted to build a large empire like Britain and France. This ambition led to conflicts with other nations, such as the Moroccan crises. Imperialism also created tensions within Europe. Countries like Austria-Hungary and Russia were competing for influence in the Balkans. The drive for empire made countries more aggressive and willing to go to war. Section 7. The surge of nationalism. Nationalism was a powerful force in the early 20th century. Nationalism is the belief that one's own nation is superior to others. It often involves a strong desire for independence and self-determination. Nationalism can unite people within a country, but it can also create conflicts with other nations. In Europe, nationalism was on the rise. People were proud of their countries and willing to fight for them. This pride sometimes turned into hostility toward other nations. Nationalist sentiments were particularly strong in countries like Germany, France, and Serbia. In multi-ethnic empires like Austria-Hungary and the Ottoman Empire, nationalism created internal conflicts. Different ethnic groups wanted independence and their own nation-states. This desire for independence led to tensions and uprisings. Section 8. The immediate reaction to the assassination. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand set off a chain reaction. Austria-Hungary was outraged and wanted to punish Serbia. They saw the assassination as an attack on their empire. They issued an ultimatum to Serbia with several demands. Serbia agreed to most of the demands, but refused some. Austria-Hungary saw this as an opportunity to go to war and assert their dominance in the region. On July 28, 1914, they declared war on Serbia. This declaration of war set off a series of events that quickly escalated into a global conflict. Russia, as an ally of Serbia, began to mobilize its army. Germany, allied with Austria-Hungary, saw Russia's mobilization as a threat. On August 1, 1914, Germany declared war on Russia. Section 9. The domino effect leading to war. Once the war began, it spread quickly. The network of alliances meant that many countries were pulled into the conflict. What started as a regional dispute between Austria-Hungary and Serbia soon involved all the major powers of Europe. Each country had its reasons for joining the war. Some were bound by alliances, while others saw an opportunity to gain territory or settle old scores. The war became a global conflict, with battles fought not only in Europe but also in Africa, Asia, and the Middle East. The entry of new countries into the war made it even more complex and devastating. The United States, for example, joined the war in 1917. Their involvement helped turn the tide in favor of the Allies. The war also saw the use of new weapons and tactics, making it more deadly than previous conflicts.